my goodness, have I been craving anything that has to do with shredded beef. The inspiration is regular street burritos, flour tortilla, refried beans, shredded beef, and Oaxaca cheese, packed tightly into a cylinder of deliciousness. Now obviously I'm using my Ninja Foodi for the braising of beef situation, and the reason I do that is because it takes 1 hour to make tender, fall apart with your pinkies, braised beef. Let's get on with the recipe.
Braised beef, yeah, you could use any cut you want, but for me, in my experience, using chuck roast is awesome. You got fat running through the entire thing. It's marbled, obviously. It's robust enough to hold up in the pressure cooker and get all this flavor that I'm gonna add to it. And that flavor comes via onions, of course, some garlic, yes, beef stock, sure, and a plethora of spices. This is one of those things, and the truth is I could say this about most of my recipes. If you wanna add more garlic, it's not gonna make it bad. You know, you're not a vampire, you're not allergic to garlic. Garlic is flavor, garlic is comfort. And that's why originally I wanted to use 3 cloves, but instead I used 6 cloves, doubling up this bad boy for double the flavor. Okay, so here's my thoughts on searing and braising and doing all that stuff when you're making meat tender. You know, when braising, you want to sear the meat. You want to lock in those flavors, the brownness, the crispiness. Then you usually add it to the liquid, you add a little bit of aromatics via the onions and the garlic, and you cook it tender. And the thing is, sometimes when you don't use the same pot, you're losing out on some of the juices, some of the flavor that's extracted from the seared meat. But in this case, when using an Instant Pot and making everything inside one reservoir, it's all good. Any juice that gets extracted from the seared meat is going to remain in the pot, hence more flavor. Now, while I was blathering about searing meat and braising meat and all things meat, I seared the meat, took it out, let it sit and rest, get all those juices reconstituted, and I added some onions, some garlic, and some chipotle peppers. Now the chipotle peppers are not only going to add some heat, but all that delicious smokiness, which is going to drive the flavor profile for these burritos. Now after roughly an hour, the meat is tender. I mean, look at this, I'm barely even touching it and it's falling apart in the tongs, all that juice. Ooh, I can taste it through the screen. Plus, I made leftovers and I just had one. Now, much like all the recipes I create, there's a lot of different elements that I pull from various directions that on their own are amazing. So if you wanted to just make braised meat, you could eat a bowl of this and feel great about yourself. In fact, I did that on the side. Don't tell anybody. If you're willing to go a little bit further and turn this into maybe, just maybe, the best beef and bean burrito you've ever eaten, we're on to the next thing. Refried beans. Now, a little bit of discretion here. I hated refried beans up until the point that I made them on my own. Now, I'm obsessed. Let that be a lesson to you. What that lesson is, not sure yet. Maybe you can help me by leaving a comment down below. Lessons on refried beans. A lot of the time people ask me, how do you come up with these recipes? What inspires you to start making something like beef and bean burritos? And you know what it was? Homemade flour tortillas. Saw them at the grocery store in the fresh baked aisle. Couldn't resist. I know, I just said homemade and then said I got them at the grocery store, but they were freshly made. That's what I meant to say. Not homemade, freshly made. But when your grocery store is your home, like it is for me, you can pretty much say anything is homemade. For the construction of these beef and bean burritos, the lightly heated up flour tortillas, a line of that braised beef, some of those refried beans, and
we have it right here. Flour tortilla capturing all this deliciousness. It looks so simple, and it is, but it is complex in flavor. No, we will. Oh my God, you guys are not even, oh my goodness. And that's the Oaxaca cheese. If you guys have never had Oaxaca cheese, imagine string cheese, but from Mexico. Simplicity at its finest. The juices are running free. Watch me, see it? Oh my, you see all that? Look at that. Ah. If I haven't already convinced you to get some sort of an Instant Pot, some sort of a multi-functioning situation that can braise your meat and tenderize it in less than an hour, you're sleeping. And with that being said, check out the Amazon link down below, which will take you to my page, which will provide you with the link to get your very own Ninja Foodi. Leave a comment down below, let me know what else you want to see me make. What other creations you want to see this brain come up with. Either way, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.